Hello everybody, TD Junkie here, back with a brand new video on the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my wishlist for Disventure Camp Season 5. As you guys voted that you wanted to see this video the most on my community tab. So I'll be going over some of the things I would ant to see in the next Disventure Camp season. I might do a part 2 of this in a future if this video does well. Also, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be covering every single thing I would want to see in Season 5, mostly for the sake of time. Anyways, with that being said, onto the video. Disappointment in the game of life. There's been a decent chunk of debate recently on Twitter and other parts of the fandom on what people think the cast should be, with people wanting it to be a full rematch with the season for cast, some wanting a completely cast, and some people just wanting to bring back members of the old cast instead. And while I wouldn't necessarily complain if any of these things did end up happening, my personal wish for the Season 5 cast is a bit different. My hope is that instead of bringing back the Uniter Season 4 cast, they instead take the characters who have more to tell narratively or still have a chance for arc to be completed, or characters who didn't really get spotlight this season and have them compete again, while also keeping in important characters who made it far and could do stuff in a rematch season, and dropping characters who don't really have any narrative potential due to the majority of their arc being finished, while also adding in a few new characters to keep the cast size 18. I feel like this would probably be the best approach, as it would allow for people who still want members of the Season 4 cast to be able to compete again, while also allowing for characters who didn't get all that much focus to get some focus, along with keeping in some important characters and adding in some new ones. Disappointment in the game of life. Now, this isn't a big of a complaint, but I do wish in the next season they tone down on how big some of the alliances are to allow for some more interesting gameplay, as almost every alliance this season has been pretty huge. Like the Girls Alliance at its peak had like 7 members, that is more than 38% of the cast at that point, and they currently have 75% of the people left in the game in their alliance. And while this isn't a big of an issue, this does make it feel like the boys are always on the back seat, which isn't as narratively interesting and gets boring after a while, as they basically are just sitting there waiting for the Girls Alliance to implode due to them being in a 6 versus 2 situation at the moment, which makes their gameplay a lot more boring than it could be if the Girls Alliance was smaller. And that's why I think to avoid this happening again, Disventure Camp should focus less on huge majority alliances like that and instead go for slightly smaller alliances. This would make gameplay more interesting, while also preventing certain characters from always being on the back foot due to the majority alliance, which gets stale after a while. Disappointment in the game of life. Okay, this might seem like a bit of a weird request, so hear me out for a second. I believe Disventure Camp should have more gimmick character or shave characters that are more so intended to be comedic. Now, Disventure Camp Season 4 already did this with Benj, but ever since he left, the closest thing we have to comedic relief character is Logan. But given how he's having more serious moments, no, that's kind of being lost. And while none of this is necessarily a bad thing, I believe that having a decent amount of comedic characters in shows like this is a good thing. Not only is it good to have a character whose main focus is to be funny as it could be written well, but also comedic characters have an important role to play in their seasons, as their presence can help break up the tension if things get too intense, which prevents everything from just being way too chaotic. Now, this isn't saying that Disventure Camp needs comedic characters to break up the tension all the time. I think if the drama is written well, there isn't as much of a need for comedic characters to break it up. And Season 4 luckily has done a pretty good job in that regard. But this is just a general thing that I think Disventure Camp should do often and more so in the future, to prevent a scenario like All Stars happening again, where everybody is just fighting non-stop and there's not really anything to break it up. Disappointment in the game of life. Now, this isn't me saying that Season 5 should just be made up of AI of the LOL challenges, but I do believe that depending on the location, some of the challenges in the past could be remade, as I believe it could be interesting to see the cast potentially go through some of the more iconic challenges while modifying them. Episode 17 was a pretty decent example of that, and if they could do it here, who knows what could be done in Season 5. Disappointment in the game of life. Now, I've been saying this in a lot of my wishlist videos for a while now, so I'm just going to try and simplify this as fast as I can. I personally believe that if the cast of Season 5 isn't a returning season with members of the old cast. I believe giving cameos to old cast members sort of like the way Revenge of the Island did it. Anyways, I believe that's all I really got for this video. I might consider doing another one of these videos around the time season for ends. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting and subscribing and turning on post notifications so you never miss another video from me, and I'll catch you all in my next video, hopefully Tomaru anyways. Peace out, take care, bye bye.